I noticed recently when helping some of my students prepare for their job interview in English that they had this issue where they weren't familiar with the vocabulary being used in the question. This creates a slightly problematic situation because if you aren't familiar with the vocabulary, then you're not really understanding the full question being asked by the interviewer. And if you don't understand the interview question, this could make answering it a bit difficult. So I decided to create a video with 5 words which I think are really common to hear in interviews, but might not be so commonly known for people who don't speak English as their first language. So if you have a job interview in English coming up, or you just want to be prepared in general, I recommend watching this video and getting familiar with these 5 words. Let's go! Take a look at this typical job interview question in English. How do you ensure effective communication with your team? So some of my students were like, huh? When they heard this word ensure. So this is what I told them. In English, ensure is a more formal way of saying make sure. So the question, how do you ensure effective communication with your team, is like asking, how do you guarantee, how do you make certain that effective communication happens? Ensure is probably a word you'll hear a lot in your job interview in English, so that's great, now you know it. Let's learn some other words. It's really common in your job interview in English to be asked to describe your approach to something. For example, describe your approach to building relationships with clients. Approach is synonymous with method or strategy. So if you're asked to answer this particular question during your job interview in English, you're being asked to explain the way, the methodology you use when you build relationships with clients. Obviously, you can get asked about any topic, not just building relationships with clients. But whatever topic you are asked about, when you explain your approach, you should explain your strategy for achieving a task. Quick thing, if you are preparing for a job interview in English, then check out my other videos which I think can help you. I have an entire series dedicated to how can I talk about my job in English, and I have another video which explains how to give really snappy endings to your interview answers. So check it out and also subscribe to this channel to keep updated. Okay, back to this video. Have you ever heard the word insights before? This is a very common word to hear in professional situations. Let's take a look at an example interview question. Can you share some insights into our company's history and mission? So insights means your understanding, your perspectives on a particular situation. In this example, the situation is the company's history and mission, but you could get asked to share your insights, your observations on almost any topic. It's a good moment to show off your critical thinking skills. So go for it and show them your analysis of the situation. You will almost definitely talk about challenges during your job interview in English. And when you do that, a very common word to hear is handle. For example, let's look at this typical classic job interview question in English. How do you handle conflict? So when you handle a challenge, in this case conflict, it's asking how you manage that particular challenge. So you're being asked to explain the practical steps that you take in order to solve a problem. And there's actually a lot of variations of this word. You might also hear tackle a challenge or deal with a challenge. and they're all really synonymous. You're being asked to explain how you overcome a challenge. Align is such a buzzword in professional contexts these days. Take a look at this example job interview question in English. How does this role align with your long-term goals? Align really means match, correspond. In this particular example, the interviewer is asking you how well this job matches, clicks with your career goals. It's possible that during your job interview in English, you'll hear the word align in other contexts, other topics. In all cases, you should be using this as an opportunity to emphasize the harmony of all these elements. What did you think of these 5 words? Did you know them already, or was it useful for you to hear them? If this was useful, please give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for even more help to prepare you with your job interview in English and speaking English in professional situations in general. It's my speciality, so also check out my website for even more resources. All the links are in the description below. So awesome work! You now have stronger vocabulary and you are in a better, more prepared place to do your job interview in English. Good luck!